A lot can happen in a year when you're the world's largest hot or not clone. Let's roast everything that Meta and Zuckerberg did in 2025. To kick off the year, notorious serial killer and pig fucker Mark Zuckerberg announced they'd be getting rid of fact checkers ahead of Trump being sworn in as president. Whenever anyone uses the phrase, "we want to be more like X," I get the ick. Given that 75% of people share articles without reading them, you'd think it couldn't get any worse, and yet here we are. This all led to a spike in searches for how to delete Facebook, and I've done a full video on why that's nearly impossible, linked below. Then Meta blamed a technical fault for the removal of LGBT Facebook groups. Good thing they got rid of the fact checkers. The fault they're making is sucking up to a wannabe dictator. Facebook and Instagram then unleashed AI-generated users that nobody asked for. There I was thinking that the ads were going to be my new friends. Now, in their defense, which I don't say very often, they have taken these bots down for now. And finally, a lawyer dropped Meta as a client because of their, quote, descent into a toxic masculinity culture. No! An app that started as a way for young men to rate women into two categories, hot or not, has a toxic male culture? Oh, colour me shocked. I can't overstate how important this article is. Lawyers rarely drop high-profiling clients. It would be like breaking up with someone who's paying your rent. So for them to do this is pretty telling. In February, we learned that Meta Reality Lab lost $17.7 billion, that's million with a B, in 2024 because it turns out people don't want adverts beamed directly into their eyeballs. Who knew? I look forward to seeing if they fire the low performer who wasted all of this money and replacing him with AI. Interestingly, and I'm aware I'm using that term liberally, in that same time frame, their share price went up 70%, so swings and roundabouts. Next, federal workers said they increasingly distrust platforms like Facebook. Not sure why they've ever trusted those platforms. It's like saying farmers increasingly distrust letting McDonald's babysit their cows. Then we found out Facebook is trying to curb the spread of many sexualized AI deepfake celebrity images. Failing implies they're trying. Meta then agreed to pay $25 million to settle a lawsuit with the Donald over his 2021 Facebook suspension. So a better headline would be Meta gives Trump a $25 million bribe and an ego massage at the same time. To save money, Meta prepared to lay off 4,000 employees. Not content with making all these people unemployed, they publicly called out their performance as shit, making it very hard for them to get their next job.
I'm Ron Burgundy. You stay classy, San Diego.
And go fuck yourself, Zuckerberg. Meta then confirmed they want to control your internet with a global subsea cable network called Project Waterway to spend shareholders' money. Oh, fuck off. I am not apologizing for that pun. And finally, we learned that Meta torrented over 81 terabytes of pirated books to train their AI. To add insult to injury, they didn't even seed the monsters. In March, a former Facebook director released their tell-all book, which paints a less than nice image of Zuckerberg. So naturally, he tried to get the book banned, and the Streisand effect came out in full force. The book basically went to the top of every chart. The book contained all sorts of allegations, including how Zuckerberg lied to the Senate and how Meta worked hand in glove with China to create a state censorship tool. But this shouldn't come as a surprise. Remember, Mark is a convicted baby eater, and in his defense, he is now supporting a much more local dictator. Next, in not entirely relevant news, a Facebook group for Cybertruck owners trying to cope with relentless mockery. One Tesla owner wrote that they need to dox and prosecute anyone making fun of their cars because the only way these people will learn is if they're shamed. It's good to see irony is going over some Americans' heads faster than Concorde. And finally, Papua New Guinea shut down Facebook in a test to stop the spread of pornography, misinformation, and hate speech. Wait, whoa, there's porn on Facebook? I knew that Zuckerberg was fucking us all, but I didn't know there were other videos on there. In April, Zuckerberg revealed he wanted to delete everyone's Facebook friends in 2022. Delete your friends, but keep the ads. That's a bold strategy. Then the Facebook whistleblower, who released their book back in March, told Congress that Meta undermined US national security. To be fair, the current US government is undermining US national security. Let's not start pulling at that thread. To end the month, Meta made good on their promise and pulled their fact-checking tool, just in time for the next wave of allegations. Speaking of allegations, Meta joined Diddy's party and launched their own digital companion chatbots. And before you ask, yes, they will talk dirty to you. And children? In May, Meta tried to bring in a consent or pay model to EU users, to which the Digital Markets Act said, nah, bro. Meta appealed by saying, not allowing them access to our data, the experience for European users will get worse. Do you know what? I'll take my chances. Then Zuckerberg said the average person only has 3 friends, and their big plan is to create AI friends for you. I'd rather just have 3 human friends and no AI yes men if it's all the same to you. Mark then told managers to start rating more workers as below expectations. I hope they start with whoever blew billions on the metaverse. And finally, we learned that when you delete a selfie from Instagram, they use that information to show you beauty ads because they assume you're questioning how you look. When I first read this section of Careless People, my jaw dropped and I was immediately served adverts for dentists. In June, Facebook started to feed its AI with our private, unpublished photos. At this point, my phone needs a lawyer, not a passcode. Given that their AI is randomly banning thousands of Instagram accounts, I'm sure that training is going really well. Then the US House of Representatives told staff, and by proxy everyone else in America, not to use WhatsApp. If it's a security risk for the House, it's a security risk for you. $1,000 says that Trump's about to launch his own Messenger app or phone. Ah, fuck's sake! And in potentially good news, Facebook and Instagram have stopped censoring search results for marijuana and cannabis, although they are going to share that search data with Ice Ice Baby. In July, Facebook deleted 10 million accounts and warned the purge will go on. And yet if you actually want to delete your Facebook, they make you jump through more hoops than a dog at Crufts. And next, this just in, Meta Reality Labs lost another $4.53 billion this quarter. Well, to be fair, they did hire like 3 new people. Then we learned that Meta pirated and seeded adult content for years to train its AI. So not only will Meta mislead you about vaccines, it'll also give you unrealistic expectations of stepmoms. Then Meta paid $8 billion to settle a privacy lawsuit. In an official statement, Zuckerberg said, "That seems fair. Have you got change for $1 trillion? A woman in Georgia said a nearby Meta data center ruined her water supply. Sorry, Sue, Meta's AI is more thirsty than a newly single 20-year-old on Instagram. And finally, Meta said it won't sign the European AI agreement, calling it an overreach, saying it will stunt growth, their wild profits, and stop their shareholders from getting a raging horn. In August, we learned that Meta spends more on Zuckerberg's personal security than Apple, Nvidia, Microsoft, Amazon, and Alphabet do for their CEOs combined. Look, I get that haters are gonna hate, but at this point, you have to ask if maybe your actions are the problem. Meta then appointed an anti-LGBTQIA conspiracy theorist, Robbie Starbuck, as an AI bias advisor. Why can't they just hire normal people? Great question, me in a hat. Robbie was incorrectly accused of being involved in the January 6th attacks by Meta's AI, so he sued them and won. And as part of that settlement, they had to give him an advisory role on their AI board. So AI isn't taking your jobs, it's just getting the worst possible people hired. Finally, we discovered that Meta illegally collected data from period and pregnancy tracking apps. Because if there's one thing Meta loves, it's bleeding users dry. I've done a full video on the data they stole and how they did it, which you can find linked below. Go watch it after this one. In September, Nepal blocked Facebook, X, YouTube, and 20 other social networks for failing to register with the government. Which sounds great, but in reality, they wanted to regulate the platforms to ensure nothing was posted that disagrees with them. Who does Nepal think they are? America? Next, Facebook and Instagram got rid of all of their ads. Yay! In exchange for a $2.99 monthly subscription. My Facebook feed would be empty if there were no ads. But sure, Zuck, you do you. Then Meta was accused of torrenting corn to achieve their goal of AI superintelligence. I knew I was super intelligent. Next, Facebook Dating tried to use AI to end swipe fatigue. Finally, AI is being used for something useful, helping you get ghosted more efficiently. Next, Zuckerberg purchased an entire Hawaiian island to go with his other land masses. In a statement, he said this story is completely made up and I'm partly using it to see if you're even listening, or if you've just got me on in the background because you can't deal with your own internal monologue. If you are still listening, why not subscribe to the channel? You've made it this far into the video and it really helps support a small creator like me create more content like this. Bitches! To round off the month, we learned Facebook, TikTok, and even LinkedIn are censoring abortion content, even when it's just medical facts. It's less community guidelines and more family planning. In October, to kick off the month, AI destroyed a fuck ton of jobs. So Meta reopened their jobs board as a way to get people to rejoin or use their apps more. But don't worry, the data you create by being on Meta's platforms will be used to train their AI, and the circle of life is complete. Then we discovered ICE agents are spying on people using WhatsApp. They're also spying on people watching YouTube. Hello, boys. Speaking of ICE, Meta removed a Facebook page allegedly used to target ICE agents after pressure from the DOJ. The word target is doing more heavy lifting than Arnie did in the 90s. It was just a Facebook group alerting people to hot single ICE agents in their area. Then the head of Instagram said they're not using your microphone to listen to you. Yay! Because with AI, they don't need to. The fuck? And finally, in features coming soon to America, a Tunisian man was sentenced to death for Facebook posts criticizing his president. In November, AI-generated videos of ICE raids went wildly viral on Facebook. These disgusting, dehumanizing videos were incredibly hard to tell apart from the actual disgusting and dehumanizing acts of the real-life ICE agents. But if you look really closely, the AI-generated ones have 6 fingers. Then Meta won a historic antitrust case when a judge ruled they're not a monopoly, even though they clearly are. This means they won't have to sell off WhatsApp or Instagram. I wonder how much that costs. I'm pretty sure it's less than we think, me and a hat. And to end the month with potentially good news, Australia is implementing a social media ban for all people under the age of 16. Honestly, I can't tell at this stage if this is going to be a good thing or not, but I do know that it's making Meta think twice about their business model down under, which can only be a good thing. In December, Instagram ordered staff to return to the office 5 days a week from 2026. Counterpoint: get fucked! In all fairness, at least they're only asking staff to work 5 days a week. Next, a US court filing alleged Meta buried casual evidence of social media harm. Why does this feel so familiar? And to end the year, potentially good news, as the EU launches an antitrust probe into Meta's overuse of AI in WhatsApp. But much like when my ex-girlfriend promised we could try erotic asphyxiation, I'm not going to hold my breath. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to learn everything toxic that Amazon and Google did in 2025, those videos are linked on screen right now or in the box below. And if they're not linked in either of those places, they're not out yet. So why not subscribe and you'll be the first to know when they go live. Thank you so much for all your support this year. It genuinely means the world. I'll see you in 2026. Godspeed.